Welcome into All Eyes on Cleveland on the Browns Film Breakdown Network, brought to you by FanDuel. My name is Brad Ward. The man next to me is the one and only Casey Kinnamon, better known at Case Knows Ball on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, the socials. Hope you are all well. Joining us here, post free agent frenzy. It's all going down. It's all going down. It's all gone down. Yeah, so we are here and yeah, well, good to see you all in the chat. Heather, Jacob, what's up? Bruce, who else we got here? Charlie, Bradley Bruns, and Chris. Good to see you guys all here. And anybody else that straggles in, I appreciate you guys all being here tonight for the show. All Eyes on Cleveland. It's a beauty. The Browns have been active in free agency. I have a number of pressing questions to ask you all, and so on and so forth, which we will get to. But first of all, let's just get rid of the elephant in the room. I lost a bet this week. I was way too confident. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that he went for I'm shocked that he went for 22-5. What? All the bets I've won against this man, I win every bet. I can't believe you guys. All the bets I've won. Yes, I was touting my.
Hey, look, I thought it was over. I thought it was a wrap. The way the league was circling, he turned down higher than 25 from Arizona.
Get out! Did he really?
Yeah.
What a chump!
But he went to a place with no state income tax. You know,
Yeah.
was able to accept that on the cheap. That 22.5, a little sweeter than the Justin Fields deal, but in that ballpark, which actually made it more frustrating that he went for something that I believe is affordable, but.
Yeah, the most aggravating thing of it all is not even losing the bet, to your point, is that it was an affordable price tag that the Browns should have been in on. And I keep hearing these people, you know, so many people relieved that they didn't roll the dice on.
Like, heaven forbid we solve a fucking problem that we've been battling for 30 years.
God forbid we try to win some football games around here. Yeah. Let's just stay in this mode of, you know, well, we could suck really bad and have another shot at a quarterback. Buddy, we've been in the top 10 the last 2 years. We're not going to take quarterback either time, Case.
I don't have words, man. I was frustrated, but, you know, by that time I'd already accepted that we weren't going after him. But then when I see the price tag, it's like, we're going to give Linderbaum more than that.
Man, it's just
thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Charlie. He says the worst part is the Browns passing on him at that price, which is the worst part of it for sure.
I just get there was a discrepancy of people who didn't believe that he was that guy. I can't disregard the tape. I can't do it. I saw it. I saw it in practical action. I saw that what could happen if you put him in a competent system without a number one, by the way. They don't have a number one. He was rolling out there, man.
Yeah, and I don't know. I can't remember the time that I was so confident that a guy was going to work out as a starting quarterback. And
in free agency, yeah.
It's the only time in free agency like
it was like, yeah. I mean, I was even doubting Darnold coming off a 14-win season in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And look how how it turned out, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's the trajectory of this, but his skill set, the fact that you don't have to get a number one overall pick to go get a guy who I believe is a starting quarterback right now and has the potential to be in that upper quartile of the league with his skill set. But whatever.
Yeah. It is what it is at this point. I mean, we talked a lot about external quarterbacks to not even be really, at least there was no rumor at all that we were in on any of the external quarterbacks. I don't remember any rumors of us being in on anybody. As
No, the ones you're hearing are guys who haven't proved it yet that are other teams are trying to give up on, and
Anthony Richardson.
yeah, stuff like that. Stuff that you're like, okay, can I get him for a day 3 pick?
Yeah.
Which you could have done. You could have gotten Willis last year for a third.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean,
I'm gonna try not to dwell on it, although I'm gonna be fucking bitter for a minute.
I'm bitter. I'm
I'm
already
gonna try.
mad, but I'm gonna put that away for right now because I do
Same.
think
Sorry,
that the
guys.
Browns have done a nice job so far in free agency. So let's hit kind of the let's go through what has happened. And I owe somebody a shirt. I'll spin the dial at the end, and somebody will get a shirt from the chat if you're here.
Just stick around and be active in the chat, people.
Yeah, yeah, and so, yeah, so here we go with the rebuilding of the Browns' offensive line, which started with a trade. It all started with a trade and a 5th-round pick goes out for Titus Howard, and they extend him to 3 years, like $63 million, I think it is, something like that, right?
Correct.
Titus Howard is a guy who I would pencil in as your right tackle right now. Very powerful guy, has some nuance to his game. He, if you get a chance and you are a member over at Browns Film Breakdown, you should watch the film breakdown on him. He does a nice job of, pulling his hand away when guys go to get around him. He's also got versatility to kick inside, has played a number of snaps in his career. He's played some at left tackle, but also left guard and right guard. So mainly he can play guard if you need him to, but I would think that you are penciling him in as your starting right tackle right now, right, Case?
Yeah, based on that AYP, I think that's what it points to. But you've also set yourself up, even not with just this move, with the other moves you've made too, to where it could be just get your best 5 on the field and figure it out. Because there is a lot of position flexibility, not just with Titus Howard, but the other players they brought along as well. So, yeah, when Jack Conklin was healthy, he was okay. He was never healthy. It was never anything you could count on. This guy's been consistent. He's, and he's a landmark winner. I do think that you pointed it out, but like he gets people to fall for that okey doke all the time.
Oh yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Like when they, now you see me, now you don't.
He put that arm out there,
yeah,
and then he just pulls it back. But that's nice. He's got some nuance to his game. I think he's a better than, like, I didn't know. So a lot of this, I'm kind of over the PFF grades thing.
Yeah,
because
tape.
like at this point, you got to go to the film.
You got to watch the tape, man.
And because I don't know how they're grading now, because some of this stuff is off. But you go to, it's good for like some things like stats,
snap counts,
and things like that. But like I'm not, and it's a good reference point, but I'm not going looking at that as a
end all be all,
the Bible of what these guys are, because I watched the film on him, and he's a better than average right tackle in the NFL.
I'd say he's probably top 15 of all tackles just in pass pro.
Sure.
In pass pro. Now there's rough spots in the run game.
There is, but the effort is there.
No,
like, it's not for lack of effort.
Time.
He's so I think
not like the last 71 we had, or
right.
2 actually.
Yeah, who got a job, by the way, with the Bears.
We don't play him.
Let's see how if he makes the roster.
Yeah.
But so this was step one, and a good step one, I thought.
He's a professional offensive lineman, for God's
He
sake.
is it's a step
So,
up,
huge
right? And
step in the
then
right direction, man.
right. So then, not knowing what's coming next with Andrew and everything, I've been on, and we'll talk more about the wide receiver trade market
Mhm.
later. But I wrote about that this morning. I think that becomes like a prevalent area to watch right now, uh, because they didn't address it, and a lot of the wide receivers are gone. Case has a couple he still likes, as me too, in free agency, but I don't even think they're gonna go there, to be honest. But we'll talk about
No,
that.
no, I think that your piece today probably highlights more of where that'll come from, but I think it'll be
Yeah,
a more closer to the draft than we stand here today.
yeah. So, Charlie Chuck said I had watched Zion tape and wanted him to. So, Zion is, as intriguing as the Howard tape was, the Zion tape was even more intriguing to me. Like, this dude
But in the
is a
opposite
freaking
way.
athlete, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's fun in the
Um,
run game. This guy's fun in the run game.
he's fun, and so he's 26 years old.
Mhm.
His PFF grades will show you a middling player, and
Yeah.
but, like, you go to the film and you realize that he's played over 1,000 snaps every year, so he's a
Mhm.
highly durable player.
Mhm.
He played right guard as a rookie, played left guard at the last 3 years. But in even, like, Brandon Thorne, guy that Jake goes to a lot for some of this
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah. One of the best
con
offensive
yeah,
line
one of the
guys
best offensive line
that
guys,
you'll find.
commenting on saying, like, boy, he really started to figure it out in the second half of 2025, like,
Mhm.
putting all the tools together, and so you're getting a guy who, as if you look at, and we went through, like, the athletic profile on our show of
Mhm.
him, like, the broad jump, the vertical, the all that stuff, like, he's explosive athlete,
Yeah.
dude, and, can really move and is strong. Now he's short, but he's strong, powerful, and a lot, like you said, a lot of fun in the run game. Um, but I think the most important thing is durability, and you're getting him for his best years. So you're gonna get him for
Yeah.
27,
His
28,
physical prime.
29.
Yes, sir.
He's just reaching his prime, which is why they gave him the money they did. I think is super, like, forward thinking, signing, because, that offensive line just got a bad rap as was because they were hurt, but, like,
Decimated. The Chargers
oh,
offensive line was decimated.
but they have talked about him, um, Harbaugh talked about him, glowingly. So,
Yeah.
and
He's a tone setter. He's a
the
tone
film
setter.
yeah, the film speaks for itself. This guy, I couldn't be more happy with what he brings to the table, and
It
he
resets what
is
you
an
used to have
athlete.
in Wyatt Teller.
Yeah,
It resets that. Even
it
if you
really
play him at
does.
right guard, even if you play him at left, whatever, but that attitude, that guy was out there to clean clocks, and if he's chipping to get to the second level, that first guy's going down. Like he's brood squad.
Yeah, Bradley points out he's only 26. Yep, you're betting on the best years of his career,
And I
and
will say it's fair to say from where he was drafted, he was kind of a disappointment to the Chargers fans. They
sure,
expected more out of him
like
early.
14 overall or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
I mean, I do coming out of BC, I was super high on the guy, but
Yeah,
if Warhol
um,
can smooth out some edges here, man, he has every physical trait you want for a guard.
dude, for as big and, like, strong as he is, he's got long arms, like, he's got tackle arms as well. Like,
Yeah,
he gets
he's
his
he's
mitts
just not
on
tall.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just not tall, and that's where he does get beat sometimes. Is like, you can swim him because of his height
Mhm.
sometimes, like, almost over, like, his neck area or,
Yeah.
like, all the way over, like, his body, some of the taller guys, but, like, in Jake's film breakdown, he showed every single pressure allowed, and a lot of them, like, he doesn't even the guy doesn't even get near the quarterback.
Yeah.
He's very good at running guys past the pocket. I think you're getting a good pass protector and a beast in the run game.
Yeah, I'm excited for the run game portion of what he could be.
Yeah.
I love just offensive linemen that come downhill that are looking for work. You know what I mean? And he's that guy.
He does look for work too. Zion Johnson, 3 years, 49.5 million, guaranteed 32.4. Felt like to some at first, like maybe a little bit of an overpay, but not after watching the film and not when you realize his age and his
Yeah,
durability.
26. You're buying his physical prime.
I don't know what that APY is. What is that APY?
I'm not a math guy.
349.
Someone out there with the calculator, hit me up.
349 and a half.
Area the 6.
15, 30, 45. So it's a little over 50. It's like 17. Anyways, he was projected to be like 18 mil. He's about there, right? He's a little less than that, actually. There you have it. I love this signing as well. So then we get the news Devin Bush is moving on, and it was right at that price point, Case. Like me and Jake had talked about it. I said 10 mil a year, I would consider it. 2 for 20, 3 for 30, I would really consider it. Jake was very much in on the idea of like, if that's how much he's gonna command, do what we've done and just lean into Tarver.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather spend the money elsewhere than on him.
Which I get, but it's also like I know Tarver's coached everyone up, but he finally had someone with an elite athletic skill set that he was able to do those same things with. So that's what you'd be paying for, is that athleticism. Obviously, Tarver's a hell of a coach, but
yeah. So they let him go, though.
Yep.
They let him walk, and smartly they turn around. No, he was a great player. I'm not saying he wasn't a great player. What do you mean?
I don't think we'd be sad if he was the guy today, but
no, I'm not saying that he was. He was fantastic for
they had one
the
hell of a
Browns.
plan B in their back pocket.
But I mean, the guy that they bring in is fantastic as well. Quincy Williams comes in for less money. Was the best linebacker in the NFL in 24, 23.
23.
Under Rudenberg.
Yes, sir.
In the same. So he comes in knowing the DC, knowing the defense, and coming off of a guy that is like over the past 3 years is like top 3 linebackers in the entire NFL. It's an awesome backup plan. So
you couldn't have asked for a better plan B just because of fit, because you get another guy who's going to be able to instruct everyone else on how everything's being taught. Everything, how Rudy wants to see things happen at that level. He's so much fun. Watch the tape. You're buying the dip. The reason you're getting that discount is because he did have a down year last year when they switched schemes. It didn't, and even because he got benched earlier in the year, when he came back, he played like a man possessed when he came back. But he's a big game hunter out there, man. Just splash plays, dude. He also gives you way more than Bush does as far as being able to rush the passer. Now he doesn't have the top end speed of someone like Bush, but I think this is a perfect pairing to put next to Carson Schlesinger.
So they get a 2-year deal up to 17 million. It's like 13, I think, at the base level, right? So, and I think that 67, I could care less if we win 6 or 8 games. I need to see progress in building a championship team. I need to see passing statistics improve. I need to see 100-yard running back.
I'm just going to paraphrase. The man needs to see competent football, a competent football team, and amen. Amen. There are steps to this, but
we all need to see that for sure.
I would love to play like meaningful football after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Which I'm going to get to later, and I have some real questions about their direction, but I can't knock what they've done so far. Yes, the highlight, Bradley, of him knocking Murray's helmet off. He's a beast, right? He
He's a missile.
flies around to the ball. He's a terror. He will fit perfectly in this defensive scheme, and he already knows the terminology and the way that Rudenberg's going to coach up the back end, which probably makes it a little more easy for him in like coverage and so forth next to Schlesinger as far as, teaching Bush the different things that they're going to be doing on the back end. So a great plan B signing. And you save some money in the process, which can go elsewhere. And they spend big again, Case, and go out and get Elgton Jenkins, who failed a physical, which has become like the biggest thing in the NFL with what the Ravens did. The shady bastards.
Oh, scumbag. That's such a scumbag move.
Scumbag move.
Well, so can we talk about that a little bit later? Like,
yeah,
just the ripple effect it had across the league.
Yeah, I want to talk about it. But they signed Jenkins real quickly for $24 million, 20 guaranteed, 2 years. Now, once again, here is your third offensive lineman, but they've all got versatility. This guy has played all 5 spots on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
He's played guard, center, and tackle. He's probably best years were as a tackle.
He made the Pro Bowl as a guard, but with and this is full disclaimer on this particular player, is when it first got announced, I wasn't pumped on it because in recent years when I've watched, I have not been impressed by him. But that's only the games that I've seen. I haven't, you know what I mean? I don't watch a ton of Packers games, but they're on TV. But I went back and I watched an absurd amount of cut-ups, Brad. I mean, absurd.
Yeah.
And I'm much more open to what he could be. But my favorite tape was him at 2021 at left tackle.
I know.
That was my favorite tape when I was watching.
I have, when you kind of just look at him play left tackle, I feel like that was his best.
I don't know. It was like he was, and this is a guy who played center at Mississippi State, and he was brought in to be the heir apparent, and they just never moved off of their center at the time. And it was just get your best 5 on the field, and he was always one of their best 5.
Yeah. The question is, like, do you want to play him at center? Do you want to move him to
I said this last
tackle?
night, but if the season started tomorrow, yes, he would be your center.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. And it could just be get your best 5 on the field, and he'll probably have something to say about that, about being one of your best 5. And the other Jenkins that was re-signed, that we'll probably discuss a little bit, is probably your first guy off the bench.
Yeah, Tevin Jenkins comes back on a 1-year deal, which is a smart move.
Yeah.
Because he did a good job when he was in there, and you've got the core, like the base core that I was asking you to get before the draft. Like they exceeded that for me.
Yeah, you got professional offensive linemen.
These are 3 pro offensive linemen, 3 upgrades over what you had for sure.
Undoubtedly.
Center market is shitty. Like,
well, that's the other part we didn't. It went so quick.
Yeah,
I think that was everyone was just off the board. You know what I mean? I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Kind of left holding it in your hand, and then it's like, and they made a play for him, like a while back, and the Packers weren't having it, and then they ended up just cutting him, so it worked out.
Did you say the ads tonight are on? Oh, I'm sorry if they are. I try to set them at few as possible. I apologize.
It'd be cool if we could set what the ads were so they could be seeing like spam and
spam. Brought to you by Elgton Jenkins. Jenkins.
His name's Silent G. That's what I'm calling him.
Yeah, I like that. So 3 really professional upgrade offensive linemen who I think are going to change your culture there. You bring back Tevin Jenkins, who, if you get healthy, can start for you if you needed him to.
Yeah. And for the record, he was the one guy I was in favor of bringing back.
He
was the one guy. I was like, okay.
Yep. So that made sense. He can play center as well, to the point of the chat here. Whippler can play center. So there are some pieces at play about the way this all comes together. Who you draft, is he ready to start day one?
Mhm. And they don't
I
have to
mean,
be.
if
That's the beauty of that.
they don't have to be. So, all of that in play, but if you've got to tip, I got to tip my cap to Andrew Berry as far as these 4 signings, 5 with Tevin, and then throw in Jack Stoll, who I would obviously they were in on Charlie Kohler. They
Mhm.
wanted him, but they paid for him to go probably past the price point the Browns were willing to go to for a blocking tight end to go to his brother's team, right?
It's so incestuous. If you look at the
Yeah,
trading, like
it's so
everything that's happened
incestuous.
between the
Yeah,
Chargers and the Ravens over the
yeah.
years, and now
So
with the
it goes
Giants. Yeah.
right out to the other Harbaugh. But Stoll is a good blocking tight end. He serves a purpose, and
Mhm.
he comes in immediately with some experience doing that. Um, I still think they need to add to that room, particularly with a combo guy,
Yeah.
probably more of a combo guy. In
Well,
the
this opens
draft,
them up in the draft to where they can take whatever now is in that
yes,
position. They're not pigeonholed to they have to get a primary blocking guy or just, they can kind of do a
they
little bit of both. But we're bearing the lead.
it wasn't $8 million,
Whitebeard
was
was
it?
not retained.
Whitebeard was not retained. Now, I
He
do
was
wanna
not
talk about
retained.
that for a minute.
I figured it would be a sore subject, but they did
Well,
tender Brendan Bates, so they still have another guy that'll at least be fringe 53, probably practice squad.
now those right of first refusal, so we're gonna get to that next here, but,
Okay, good because I have thoughts.
alright, so feel good about this. They didn't give Stoll $8 million, did they? There's no way. That maybe it was, like, up to $8 million or something, but, um,
Someone's going to pull up the contract deets. I don't have them in front of me.
I'll get it.
Well, I
Uh,
do got to give Andrew Berry credit for something else.
yeah.
Usually, when he gets up there this time of year, he's like, "Don't believe a damn word he's saying." He did cite the Chicago Bears for having the blueprint of how to flip over an offensive line, and then he just followed it.
He did.
They,
He did
and
follow.
I usually I'm usually like he's just will treat us like
Yeah.
mushrooms, but he actually dropped a little bit of truth there. He did exactly
Oh,
that.
Kohler. They were referencing Kohler getting $8 million. Yeah, that makes more sense. Tight end Jack Stoll got 1 year,
I thought it was 1 point
1.315.
something. Yeah,
That's the
none
veteran
of it was
minimum.
guaranteed. By the way, none of Stoll's contract was guaranteed,
Right.
and he has playing bonuses like 100,000 a game or something.
Yeah. So he'll serve a purpose. So all of that good, to your point, good job by Andrew Berry. In this facet of in this part of the world, right? So major upgrades across the board.
Mhm.
Now, let's talk about the next thing on my list is so there was kind of a discrepancy with Hickman. So it was originally
A second round tender,
yeah, it was originally reported that he was going to get a second round tender, which is
5 million,
5 or 6 million.
5.6 numbers.
Yeah, I got it right here. I just did all this work last night, so I should remember it. But which would have given him $5.811 million or 110% of his prior year base salary. So it would have been 5.8. And the second round tender then would have also protected the Browns. If somebody does pay past that, they would
Yep.
have to give up their second round pick in return. Now, the original round tender is a thing, but he's a UDFA. So you don't want to give him that because it gives you no pick protection. So your best option is either the second round tender or the right of first refusal tender.
Mhm.
It comes out yesterday when the league year opens that they didn't give him the second round
Yeah.
tender. They actually gave him the right of first refusal tender, which is $3.547 million for 1 year. And any, allows them to match any offer sheet given to Hickman, which I don't think anybody will be coming with. I would be surprised if they did.
No, but it is a calculated risk now you're taking.
It is
You
a
looked at how
risk.
the safety market developed, and you just took you're gambling that no one's paying that money this year for that.
My initial reaction was that when they announced that they was getting the second round tender was like, oh
They
boy,
love him.
they like him.
Yeah,
And
same.
Rudy saw his film and they're in on him because they want to make sure they don't lose him, and they're, you know what I mean? And then you hear this and I'm like, that's a little risky. It's not a ton of money. I'm sure he was wanting extension. You need another safety in this room, to your guys' point in the chat saying draft a safety. I don't know if I would take Caleb Towns. I think you need to address the offensive side of the ball that high in the draft. I know everybody's going to say best player available, but I still think we need to focus on offense at 6. And I think they probably trade down.
I was about to say, I don't think we're picking at 6, man.
Yeah.
The closer we get. That
So
could change, but as of right now, it feels like the Downs might be a part of that.
Where they stand with Hickman, do you waver on that as well?
No, yeah, it's my opinion was exactly what yours was when they first announced the second round tender. It's like, okay, he's definitely part of their plans. Now it's like, yeah, they'll take him if they can get him at their price point. But their first right of refusal, you don't get a draft pick back for that. There's no protection. If you're willing to pay him 3.5 and someone's like, okay, we'll give him 4.2, you could lose him. You could lose him. And then you're kind of in a bad place at that point because you're going to need 2 safeties now, not just one. As of now, you definitely need one.
Which makes you
just if you go back to the work that you and Jake did, how interchangeable the safeties were in Atlanta with their snap counts, where they were playing at, even nickel, overhang, everything. It was almost like a mirror image of each other. So you need interchangeable. And Grant can do all those things. Grant's more effective, as we've seen in recent years, being closer to the line of scrimmage. But if he wants to play that similar style, you're going to have to try to match. And, so that's – I don't know if Hickman can do those things. I don't know if he can.
That is the biggest question about the back end of this defense is, can Ronnie Hickman play interchangeable snaps with Delpit?
Yeah.
The way that they did with Watts and Bates in Atlanta. And because it allows you to do a lot of things in coverage, disguise-wise, and where you're bringing players from, and that's a lot of what they did. Like, literally, if you haven't seen the episode, there's a short of it too going around. But they literally played like the exact same amount of snaps at free, strong, box. Like they're mirror images of each other there. They're complete interchangeable players, which makes it a pain in the ass to play offense again. You know what I mean? Because you don't know who's going to be the high. Are they splitting? Who's in the box? You can move them around. So there's a lot there for Hickman to prove. I was impressed this year with his tackling. He is a steady, dependable tackler. And that is a part of his game that has improved a lot, I think. Does he have the sheer athleticism to do like what Delpit does? I don't know.
I will say definitively he is not the athlete that Delpit is.
No, he's not. But can he do enough?
Yeah. It remains to be seen.
Yeah. I do think, to your guys' point in the chat, I think they probably draft a safety.
Yeah.
And they also have been very strong in the UDF game at safety.
They have. That is true.
Donovan, you've got guys they like in that room that they've kept around. Edwards is another guy that they've kept around in that room. Now, who knows what Rutenberg is going to think of those guys.
Yeah. All the safeties I had on my free agent list are gone.
Are gone.
They're all marked in red pen, brother.
Yeah. We talked about Nick Cross, and that's
Nick
about
Cross
it.
is right there on my list. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's gone. So the other interesting news, though, is that they don't tender. So now I do want to remind you that they don't tender linebacker Mohamed Diabate, which is the biggest news of the list. Sam Kamara, okay,
Mhm.
and tight end Blake Whiteheart, better aka Whitebeard in the turkey hole, right? It is one of
Always
our
and forever.
favorites. Yeah, always and forever. So my initial reaction is this is a cost-cutting measure, and I don't think that so they become unrestricted free agents, but I think that Andrew Berry is saying, "I don't wanna give any of these guys $3.5 million. I don't think any of them are worth it.
Go test the
So,
market. I wouldn't
go
be
see
surprised if
what you can
yeah,
get, and
exactly.
I'll pay you the vet minimum to come back and play your role here." That's the feeling I get, at least for Diabate. The
Yeah.
rest of them, I don't know.
Kamara's
Whiteheart,
another guy that am I gonna be surprised if he winds up back on the practice squad at some point? No.
sure. They always bring back the same guys typically. Now, it is a different coaching staff, so that may change things there, but, um, I would be shocked if Diabate doesn't end up on this roster.
I think that's probably the most likely conclusion.
Like, if you have to pay him $2,000,000, is anybody else gonna go out and pay Diabate $2,000,000?
No,
Probably
not
not.
unless there's some crazy injuries that happen at OTAs or, but as we stand today, I think that's the most likely scenario is he winds up back
Yeah. So, I think this was
at
just
vet minimum stuff.
like, I'm not giving you 3.5. Let's not get carried away. You can test the market, but I'm gonna bet on our calculations that
Mhm.
you'll be back, or I can get you back,
Or
or
I
they
can pick up value better
right.
along the way.
Diabate has been a good piece of that room, and I like what he
Mhm.
brings to the table as a depth option. So for him, like, at least compared to the other 2, I would at least have had the conversation with him prior, like, "We want you around, but we just can't justify giving you this amount of money."
Yeah.
Um,
And
so
they kept Winston Reed,
right. So,
who could just be his replacement if it doesn't
now
work out.
that's a different,
Yeah, but he's still in
amount
the
of
system.
money.
He's still in the fold.
Right. The exclusive rights stuff
Mhm.
is a different, pay. It's not 3.5 million. I think it's like your minimum or whatever, right? So, or it starts there,
Yeah.
something to that effect. It's not $3.5 million like this one is, the right of first refusal, tender. So, that's how that works. That's what happened. I think Diabate comes back. Um, I would be surprised if he didn't. I see you guys mentioning guys, Genesis Smith, Tinnamon, safeties. That's a good room to go through on the show maybe next week. Tight end is
Sounds good
coming
to
up
me.
as well. Those are going to be areas of that should be explored, I think, for the Browns. Not so much in like the first, second, or third round, maybe the third round, but
Yeah,
like
yeah,
more in like the fourth or fifth round.
yeah.
I see what kind of value you can find there. And once again, I'll remind you again that they've done an excellent job at linebacker and at safety of churning UDFAs and making like a pathway available to the 53-man roster
Mhm. To
for
both those rooms.
high-end UDFAs.
Yeah.
So they will give a guy 75,000 or $25,000. They did it with a bunch of guys last year, even some corners and stuff as well, um, as a priority UDFA after the draft, bring them in, and a lot of them stuck around on the practice squad and a couple on the roster. So
I'm not sure
McMillan,
what's EMA up to.
EMA is back. I mean, he'll be back. Um, I believe, right? He's on a they did like him a lot.
They
I
should.
thought he was interesting as
They
well.
should. Yeah, no, me too.
I
I
show
can't
him
name Winston
on
Reed, to be
the
honest with you. So, I mean,
I show him on the roster. Easton, Mascarenas, Arnold, EMA, another UDFA guy.
mhm.
So, like those guys have done better than the guy they took in the 6th round, Nathaniel Watson.
Yeah, true.
So, it's not there. Yeah, Reed, Winston Reed being around is also a benefit. He's a good special teams player.
Tackle machine.
Yeah. So I'm not concerned about it. They did sign D'Angelo Ross back. Wasn't
And
he
Trey
around
Avery.
last year?
Trey Avery as well.
And Trey Avery. Both were around last year, right?
Yes, sir.
So
D'Angelo Ross ended up going to the Texans after he left us, but he's been on our roster before.
okay, yeah, he's a fringe roster guy.
Yeah.
We'll see. Did he play at all last year for the Texans?
I can't speak to it.
He's
Whether he
been
did or not.
around, man. He's been around.
Yeah.
So he's been in the league since unrestricted free agent. I believe he was undrafted. He's 29 years old, 4 years of NFL experience. New England, Miami, Houston, Cleveland. A lot of practice squad. Activated a bunch of times though. He's played his share of games. Elevated for Houston, elevated for Miami, elevated for New England several times when the things get hairy, right? So when
Special
they
teams.
get into their depth, they've called on him. So, are we okay taking all our cap hits? So, I don't know specifically what you mean. I'm gonna hold off on the Batonio talk. Like, there's some stuff out there that is contract voided technically, and this stuff, but I don't know if we would know otherwise. Like, the reporting on this is super weird, right? Like, if they agreed on something for him to take, like, the vet min till post-June, would we know that by now?
No, and I'll say this because I think they're just giving him his respect. I'm actually just waiting on a statement from Joel Batonio himself.
Yeah. Or
Until
is
that
he
happens,
actually explore like, 'cause people are making it seem like he screwed the Browns over and he's exploring going to another team. And I don't know if any of that is true, and I wanna wait,
yeah,
and I'm
I'm
gonna
not yet.
reserve.
I'm not going to speak on it until I have more details. But
Zagura talked about that too, so that's interesting. I'm gonna wait and see though. But that's just more accounting for. No, I'm not worried about any of the cap hits. These guys, so all of the new players signed are gonna play on the base minimum salary this year. They'll get their, the majority of their year one paid in cash up front, and all the money will get kicked down the road, and that's
we're
just
going to
the
gain about
way.
13 million when Titus's stuff
Yeah.
goes official.
Yep, Titus will clear up space. They still have
Uh-huh.
Denzel's to restructure. So
Yeah, it was weird they did that mini restructure
yeah.
up front.
So I'm not worried about cap space at all.
Yeah. I will say this: if Joel Batonio, I'm never going to look at it as he screwed us. If he chooses to go
No,
to
he
another
has the
team,
right to do whatever he
good
wants.
Lord, yes, man. He's left it all on the field. You know what I mean? For athletic glory. Like I'm never going to be like, that damn Joel Batonio, what a snake. No, man. No besmirchment of Big Joel. If he decides to go elsewhere to try to have a winning season on his way out for a contender, more power to him.
So, Bruce, we've been saying this for a while. I'll just revisit this quickly here. There are a lot of people that like to fearmonger the salary cap, and they did it before free agency. Like, the Browns are in cap hell. How are they going to spend anything? And then look what they did. They went out and spent like an ass load of money on a bunch of free agents, right, to replace that. So, anybody saying that they are $1 million over the cap or whatever, don't worry about it. They'll be under the cap. Andrew knows what he's doing and has this planned out well into the future. They will. They can restructure contracts, and as I said before, all these new contracts, once they actually hit the books, to your point, when Titus's hits the books, that'll free up like 13 mil. But it's just people like to say that stuff to make things look a certain way. There's plenty of contracts to restructure.
There's levers
plenty
to
of room.
pull. That's the way I look at it. He leaves levers to pull, and he'll only pull as many as he needs to at one time to leave more for later.
It's very much a mirage.
It's a shell
be
game.
managed.
It's
It
a
is.
shell
It's
game.
a
You're
shell
playing
game.
3-card Monty here.
Yeah, we're just moving money around, and as long as the salary cap continues to go up, you'll be fine. And Barry is kind of a mad scientist at it. So,
Mhm.
to the point of
Yeah, for me, it's if I were to list his strengths, it would be salary cap management and the ability to get value for trades. Those are
Yep.
his calling cards.
Which brings us to the next topic on tonight's show. We have not addressed receiver yet. Wide receiver room still remains the same. Casey, are you worried?
No, because he will trade for a receiver, and we're going to draft at least a receiver, preferably 2 receivers. So this isn't in any way his final form. But it's just people get impatient, and I'm among those people. You want the action to happen, but the reality is the asking price is just too much right now. You got to let it calm down, let the market calm down, and as we're still 40 days away from the draft. Those numbers will change as we get closer, and then you'll see him pounce. And like I just said, he gets value for trades, especially in that market. So I'm not worried about it. I'm not allowing myself to be worried about it. But are we ready to go to war with the guys on the roster right now? Hell no.
No.
Hell no. But this isn't the final form.
So as I kind of I wanted to dive for my article this morning, I wanted to dive into this trade market and kind of what's real, what's realistic out there, who's saying what about what.
Yeah.
So basically I came up with these names from reporting, right, that have been out there. We know that Olave and Marvin Harrison were brought up right at the beginning of before free agency, in connection with the Browns, and Marvin Harrison was brought up in connection with the Browns. But Brian Thomas has been mentioned, and the Jaguars were rumored to be working on a trade with the Steelers at one point with that, and that kind of fizzled. And then there are some other names out there. There's your Rashad Bateman, your Dontavian Wicks, who is out there. Treylon Burks has been mentioned, and
he's gone.
Coleman.
He signed back. Burks is in for the Commanders again.
All right, there you go.
But
He's back. So Keon Coleman is the other name then. So as you go
Quentin
through
Johnston is the other one as well.
Quentin Johnston is there. Thank you. I missed the biggest one, probably. Quentin Johnston. And
yes.
So these are the names out there. So as I was kind of going through all what's said about this, you get Albert Breer saying he checked on the Brian Thomas thing. It was emphatically told he's not available. I don't know how far you take it. I feel like he is available.
Buddy, the more I hear Jimmy Stones come out and say that they're not interested in trading him, the more I feel like they just haven't got the right offer yet.
Yeah.
That's what I hear when Jimmy Stones keeps talking about it out loud.
I would like to be in on him, Brian Thomas.
Yeah. Well,
Marv Harrison.
They were taking offers, man. He could say they weren't, but they were.
They were.
And Barry put a 39 on the table and left it at that.
Right.
Would I take him for a 39? Yes.
Yes, should have done it.
Yeah.
Marv Harrison Jr., I never got the sense he was available. Bear said, well, we know they were basically at the table over 39. So AJ Brown is the other name out there. I don't
I'm
care
out.
to explore
I'm
that
out.
world.
Yeah.
I
He's
don't
not
think
happy in Philly. What the hell makes you think he's
him
gonna
and
be happy
Jerry
here?
Jeudy in the same room.
Yeah.
Uh, so for me, and then I looked a little bit further into it, and Jeremy Fowler, who I think does a good job with his stuff, is kind of said that several receivers have surfaced in league discussions that he continues to hear in talks, and that's Bateman, Quentin Johnston, and Wicks. Bateman, doesn't really perk up
No,
my
I'm out on
attention.
Bateman. I'm out on
Uh,
Bateman.
but but Wicks and Quentin Johnson, I'm very interested
Yes.
in, and I think that I at this point, and I want you to talk on this,
Mhm.
but I at this point would be surprised if the Browns don't make a trade at wide receiver before the draft.
Yeah, I'm on record. They will. It's a matter
They
of
will,
when
yeah, I think they will.
Andrew Berry will trade for a receiver. But he's not going to lose value on it, man. He's not that guy. He
Yeah,
doesn't get desperate in these situations. So he's got some offers out there and he's walking away from them, and that offer's just hanging out there on the table. So if, Monty Austin Ford doesn't, as they draw closer to the draft and the best offer he has is 39, or Brian Thomas, Jimmy Stones is sitting there and 39 is on the table for Brian Thomas Jr. It's all about situation. If I look at Arizona, they're tanking. Their quarterbacks are Jacoby Brissett and Gardner Minshew. And then they had Michael Wilson emerge. They have Trey McBride, and they're not looking to get into a big contract with a guy that was drafted high in the first round. So if they're not going to plan on keeping him, you got to get rid of him at some point. That doesn't have to happen this year. It could happen next year. So maybe they're holding out hope that those players show enough of a glimmer that they can recoup a first round pick. But that's not the price of the brick today for those receivers. Those receivers don't garnish first round compensation right now. And Andrew Berry won't pay it.
hell no.
And Andrew Berry will not pay that. So
Nobody should pay. The only one worth a first round is AJ Brown, and that's not a world we can live in.
no, there's a headache tax.
Right.
And I don't think we're paying that either.
Charlie Chuck says 39 is too much. For who, though?
I would gladly trade 39 for either Marvin Harrison or Brian Thomas Jr. right now.
Either one I would do. I think you're getting better value at 39 than you can get in the draft at 39 with both guys. Our first round talents.
Yeah, and like if we're breaking apart, like Brian Thomas Jr., if you look at his situation, Parker Washington and Jacoby Myers and Brenton Strange are their pass catchers now, right? And for whatever reason, Brian Thomas Jr.'s, when he exploded in his rookie year, most of that was with McCorkle Jones at quarterback. For whatever reason, him and Lawrence have not been able to get on the same page. And who are they going to hitch their wagon to? Brian Thomas Jr. or Trevor Lawrence? It's going to be Trevor Lawrence. So he'll be the odd man. Eventually, he will not be there. So you got to wait this out. But yeah, I would gladly trade 39 for either one of those talents.
Yeah, Marv I'm with you. Quentin, 39, would you do it?
Not for 39. But you don't have to do it for 39. He's another guy. They're not going to extend him. They're going to end up losing him. Do they want to get compensation for him? Do they want to get a third? I'd give a third round pick for Quentin Johnston.
Third round pick.
I think that's where the conversation has to start. And I would prefer to give up a day 3 pick, but we do not have a player like him with his skill set on our roster.
In the chat, they're asking, is there any truth to the Marvin Harrison trade buzz? I think you can speak to this a little bit.
Yes, there was. Monty Austin Ford was he had 39 on the table, and then he started shopping it around trying to get it higher, and Andrew pulled it. And then that's just where it sits right now, where it's probably going to sit for the next 2-3 weeks, easy.
Yeah.
There's no need to overreach right now. You just let them come back to the table and try to negotiate.
As far as the comments about, Charlie Chuck says it's too rich for his blood, I get your point. There are players I would like for 39, the two guys we mentioned, I would give. For Wicks, for Johnson, a third.
That's where it starts for me. I'd prefer a day 3, but
yeah. But I would give up 39 for either of those two because they're like walking the door two
Starters.
quasi ones
They're starters
ish. Yeah.
right now.
They're
Either
a
one of those
hella
dudes start for your team right
and
now, day one.
and you don't have to like shake the box of like what is this guy as a pro.
Mhm.
And and if you're taking 39 and using it on a receiver, there's some chance you miss in the
Barry's
draft.
never hit. So
Now, he's never drafted that high, but
yeah,
but I'll give him that. But yeah, he does better with trades as far as that goes. Now,
Tillman was close to that.
Tillman was close, and I
And the book's
respect
not
your
yeah.
I respect your opinion here. MC saying Tillman would like to see Tillman a full year healthy. So would I. I would love
Yeah,
to
we
see
all
it,
would.
but I can't wait for it anymore.
It would be a fool's errand to bank on him making that leap now. Now, if he does, great, grand, wonderful. That'd be a great problem to have. But we cannot go into the year trying to evaluate quarterbacks and everything else that we're trying to do, hoping that one of these guys can step up and be a full-time guy for us.
Yeah, it's not really about whether you want wide receiver 39 or not. It's about where you can add what to your wide receiver room at best, right? Like, I'm not saying you have to spend a 39 on a wide receiver, but Tillman is like he can't stay healthy. Yeah, like, and I can't. Like, it's too much. That what if Andrew Berry is looking inside, and one of the things that I fault him for in the past is that he has tried to wish and hope his wide receiver room into
Yes.
existence. So I took Jamari Thrash, I took Tillman, I have this guy, I have that guy. I project them to be this player as they get better. I'm done with the projections of players into you can't wish and hope these guys into existence. The whole Tillman thing, oh, we saw him really good for 5 games. That's great, but he can't stay on the field.
Mhm.
He disappears for large amounts of time.
It makes it more frustrating.
It's incredibly
If
frustrating.
anything.
You gotta give me some guys that are actual professional receivers in this room.
Mhm. High
So
level, elite traits. You need some elite trait guys.
I want a guy at 6 or 24,
Mhm.
one or the other, and I want either a trade or I'd like to spend another asset in the draft on a guy. I think you have to add. I will be disappointed if they don't add via trade or free agency. Now, what's left in free agency? Listen, wide receiver in free agency is a fool's errand. It just
Mhm.
is.
Especially for the top guys, man.
But I'm talking guys below that. So give me your list. You got some guys you like that are
Yeah.
still left.
Yeah.
Here's the top guys still left. FYI.
Yeah.
Some of this may have changed. Juwan Jennings, Calvin Austin, Keenan Allen. Austin signed?
Yeah.
With who?
Giants, maybe.
Let me check that.
Maybe. No, I saw it come across. I don't know. I wasn't in on him anyway, but whatever.
Okay. Signed with the Giants, 1 year, $4.5 million. All right. Diggs, Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel, Ayuk has become available. Christian Kirk. I do have some interest in Kirk. I would listen to Kirk.
He's wanting
Keenan
more money than
Allen.
he's worth right now, but we'll see if that market cools down.
Yeah. DeAndre Hopkins, Darnell Mooney. None of these guys I could pull the trigger on really. Mooney, I would explore.
I'll listen to Mooney.
Probably have to overpay for him though.
Yeah.
Marquise Brown, Brandon Cooks, Tim Patrick, Jalen Tolbert, and then there's some other guys that you want to mention.
Yeah, well, Jalen Tolbert's on my list. Brandon Cooks is a guy that I would be very happy with bringing in because you get a professional guy who can be a 2 on any day.
Here's the thing. Can you imagine them bringing in a guy like Cooks though? He's like a hired.
He's a mercenary. It depends on what his market is. You just have to wait at the team. Like if he has options, then hell no. But what are his options right now? There's reasons he's not signed. He's a guy that'll have that. Here's the problem with the free agents that are left, right? A lot of these guys are going to be guys that you go to after the draft, after what you don't get in the draft. You're going to let teams are going to rank and file these guys. They're going to, when the draft comes and goes, then these guys start to come off the board. But I'm looking at guys like Greg Dortch.
He is available, by the way.
Here. Diami Brown. These are.
We both like Diami Brown a lot.
Yeah.
I think he could be a good player.
I do too. They're playmaking.
He showed it in the playoffs. He was tremendous for Washington.
Mm-hmm. So
keep going.
Those are the guys I would circle. We've kind of already touched on the other guys that you already named them in the list of
Tolbert.
people. Yeah. And look, I'd be in on Jawan Jennings, but that price tag is going to be up there. And Jawan Jennings is a hoe, and I want that to be known.
Yeah, he is. He's going to get paid by somebody. I just don't see them spending on like a 30-year-old receiver.
I would take Cooks. He's a professional. He is a mercenary.
You're not investing 33 years old. He has 12 years in the league.
And he's productive.
I know, but
he's productive.
Wouldn't you rather give those snaps to somebody else to develop? I'm
not worried about develop. Look, man, you draft that.
Be around.
You draft the develop guys. Let's just take a late stab on a developmental guy. But if I need a guy to come in and be a professional wide receiver, day one, be a quarterback's friend.
Yeah, that's why I liked Jalen Naylor, because he's like 26. He got paid though.
Yeah, he went to Atlanta, right?
Yeah, and the other guy that I have interest in is Noah Brown.
Mm-hmm.
He's 30 though. Jahan Dotson. I don't think that Barry wants to live in this world. Tutu Atwell is only 26.
Yeah.
Tylan Wallace.
Tyquan Thornton. High weight speed guy out of Baylor.
He signed back with
he signed back Kansas City.
All right. So those are some of the guys out there. I still think their best bet is Wicks, Quentin,
to
the trade market, and anything else that shakes loose. Because and I doubt that, I don't want to see him wait this long, but after the draft, you could see some guys shake loose too.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do Marquise Brown. I don't know what his market will be, but $6-7 million a year, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. He's almost 29. He's always hurt too, isn't he? And he's just very, I don't know.
Chad is saying that Tutu Atwell just signed with Miami.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Real quickly, let's go around free agency and just see if there's any other names that interest you outside of. So we know the Browns need to add pieces, parts here and there. Most of it will be done in the draft, and then in tertiary free agency as it moves and proceeds.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of this first few phases, right?
Yeah. And historically, Barry's not made a lot of splashes in the first couple waves, and when he's done it offensive line when it was like Jack Conklin. You know what I mean? Like it's
correct.
So that's what he's done this year. So I expect the same.
Thank you for the Atwell update, chat. All right, so do you have any interest in Ayuk?
Yeah, of course I do, but I don't think all signs are pointing to him in Washington.
Yeah,
right now, I think we're low in his pecking order. What
do you think about Kyler to Minnesota?
Curious. They're doing this without a GM. By the way, they don't even have a GM.
Would you take JJ?
Yeah, what's the tag? What are we paying for it? Because I'm not paying for it.
Like a fifth?
Yeah, for a fifth. Yeah. He fits the criteria.
He's still on his
I was going to do the same thing for Richardson for a fifth. You're not going to find a guy with those kind of traits with that price tag. Even someone like Taylor Green, his stock's going up, and he's just a guy that's all tools, no real proof of concept, and you're going to have to spend a third in the draft to get that. So if you can do a fifth, I have no problem with that.
Again, Coleman, I agree. I would roll the dice too,
Yes.
Will, and that screams of Andrew Berry.
Yeah,
but the problem is there's some off the field issues there, like him being late to stuff all the time. Like, do you want to bring that headache in? Listen, before we do this, we don't even need to do this. The more important thing is this. They didn't sniff around any quarterbacks. They talked external. They didn't do shit, right? Are you under the belief at this point that it is just going to be Shedeur Sanders, and if he's good, great. If he's not, great, because we'll be in position for another quarterback. And I will remind you, top 10 picks the last 2 years have not taken a quarterback.
Yeah.
With those picks. So where are they? When are they going to swing again? Realistically, and why are we not trying to win this year? Or I mean, because it feels like you are with the offensive line, with those moves. But I can't. I'm sorry, and I want, and Shedeur, I hope you prove me wrong. But like, I can't get behind these two idiots in this quarterback room as a realistic thing. It's a joke.
That's fair. It's completely fair. Now, the people that believe in Shedeur will have a different stance on this.
Sure,
but no, dude. I mean,
point to the play last year.
What is the ceiling of your room realistically right now? Even if and this is, you've improved the offensive line. Obviously, you're banking on Quinshawn being healthy. Try to be the engine of your offense and try to make things minimize the difficulty on the quarterback, to minimize what has to happen back there. And maybe you can piece together 6, 7, 8 wins. I think that's the ceiling. If it's
a dog shit schedule and a bad division that doesn't look great right now. So,
and that plays you right out of being in contention for a quarterback in 27 anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's curious, right? Curious plan. The fact that they weren't in on Willis. The fact that they
why aren't you
trying to solve a problem that is obvious?
And I get your guys' point. Monken needs to win. Barry needs to win. Do they though? Do they? Like, do you
Monken's
think
in the first year, but he's also the oldest first-time head coach in NFL history.
I get it. And I know he's going to try to win with no matter what they give him. But what they give him is not up to him.
Yeah. But is he advocating behind the scenes because he thinks he can get something out of Shedeur?
No.
You don't think he's advocating behind the scenes saying I can win with this
guy? This is the guy. We don't need anything else. This is the guy. You think he's doing that?
I think there's a possibility. We definitely. I don't think we can. Yeah, you think you can rule that out? He's approached. He tried to get him in Georgia. He tried to get him. He tried to draft him.
Totally different. That's totally different though. There's proof of him playing in the NFL,
but not for Todd Monken. There's not. And coaches are egotistical. And a lot of guys look. I could fix that guy. I
guess. I don't know. If you had one shot, I would want more options.
I would too, but I'm not him, so I can't speak for him. It is curious that their lack of urgency to add something in that. But in my mind, the only quarterback that was worth a damn that available was Willis. So what other options could they have taken right now?
They should have gone for
Kyler wasn't coming here.
Mariota.
Yes, I agree. But does that solve your ceiling problem?
No, but it makes you competitive right now.
Yeah, it could. Based on what he did last year. The years before, I wouldn't say so much, but he looked solid last year.
It's not Ty Simpson for me.
But that's just it. There was not a ton available, and I'm just mad they weren't in on what was available.
Right.
But
are they gonna bring in Anthony Richardson? That would at least
they're going to. Yes, I would say that they're going to try to get a reclamation type guy. Another name that I've been heard kicked around recently was old Billy Jeans in Tennessee, old Will Levis.
What do you mean competitive to go where? What so we're just never gonna try to win again? Is that what it is? I don't understand. I hate that. Competitive to go where?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You wanna lose again? You guys wanna lose again and go get another top 10 quarterback and hope that there's somebody there again. I can't I can't live that way. There's no way. They should be not they shouldn't be trying to live that way. Oh, if Shador works out, it's great, terrific. If he's bad, terrific. We'll get another shot at a quarterback. You keep saying that, but there's
There's so
one
many other teams with
quarterback.
that mindset going into 27 too. It's not like you're the only team with that plan. Like,
I hate it.
yeah,
hate
no,
that
it's
attitude.
no man's land. There's no fun here.
I mean, I think they're already good enough with the defense, and 2029 is the goal. Oh my god, give me a break, dude. No, there's no way. The goal is to be good while this defense is still
Yeah,
good.
in their prime, and they're not going to be there for much longer.
You're running out of
Let's
time.
be real. Let's be real
defense
about
is
that.
not gonna be what it is in 2029, what it
Yeah.
is now. Come on now. You have a very limited amount of time to win while this defense has Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Delpit, these guys on it. You can say they think different than we do. I'm trying that. I'm making that point. The point that you're making right now, Joe, that compete for what? For what? So let's just tank again. Yeah, that's what scares me is that they're thinking that way. I know they're thinking different than we do. That's what scares me. That's what scares me to death. Right?
The only factor I can't overlook in all this is Monken himself thinking that he can piece together 20 points a game by hook or by crook, which changes the complete outlook with this defense is where they are right now. But do I think that that's a permanent answer? No, of course it's not. Look, if they think that that's great, but they have to have a better plan B. And we're not mentioning the other guy's name in the room. I've noticed.
I'm not.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Realistic.
Because right now he's going to play at some point. When's the last time a backup quarterback's just not played? You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
why
there needs to be a better option back there than what he is. Yeah. You know, and I just wanted to see it to be like if Sanders is the guy, great, but I want him to earn it. I don't want it to be handed to him because then that's what scares me the most.
Yeah. I just we'll wait. We'll see what happens. I like Coach Monken. I think this defense can be really good. I like what they've done in free agency so far. They've got a big draft in front of them. The thing that for me though is like you have a soft ass schedule in a down division. You should be trying to win. And
division and transition. If you were going
the
to gain ground ever,
that,
this is it.
And to your point, they think differently than we do. Compete for what? You guys, some people are saying in the chat. So that's what scares me is their attitude is like, well, if we can't go win the Super Bowl, then we might as well lose.
Let's make the playoffs, man. Let's go.
What kind of world is that to live in as a
not much for a fan, man. Not much.
I mean, how many years can we do that and say that?
And people still have jobs.
I would like to see Andrew keep his job. I would like to see Todd get a real shot at this. And maybe, and let's hope that Shador can be the guy.
But understandably, there would have to be a massive leap in year 2 for that to be the thing. Now, did they make things easier by putting a professional offensive line in front of him?
Yeah.
That's the step. He's got to take the other steps.
Weapons.
We need weapons. We don't have them. We got Fannin and some hopes and wishes.
Like, I think Sanders can get to like a like a middle of the road quarterback at some point in his career. I just don't know if it can be year 2.
Yeah, no, that's and honestly, that's probably the trajectory. Is not usually in year 2. It's towards the back end of his rookie contract, going into that next year. If that is
So
in the cards for him. I know when he was coming out, a lot of people that I know and respect in the industry said his ceiling was probably like a Geno Smith, not Geno Smith for the Raiders, but when Geno Smith was actually rolling for Seattle. And you could live with that with everything else. There's elevators, and then there's guys you can win with. He can be a guy you can win with. Is he going to be an elevator? That doesn't feel very likely, right?
Not saying lose, but if you think they're contenders, that's wild. Do I think they're Super Bowl contenders? No. Do I think they have a shitty schedule? Yes. Do I think they're in a division that's in transition, as you put? Yes. Could they win more games this year? Yes. Do they have a really good defense and a shit offense that they're trying to turn around? And they just did a really good job of upgrading the offensive line in free agency. Yes. So I don't think they're that far off from being like a 500 team and playing meaningful football in December. Are they going to go win the Super Bowl next year? No, but I want
Baby
meaningful
steps.
football.
Yes.
Right? Like losing to lose to try to hope that there's a guy there that saves your franchise that's not a successful approach. It's just not. You got to put your best foot forward every year in the NFL. The teams that try to do that shit, it doesn't work out for them. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Anyways, safety, tight end. I don't think running back. These positions are of interest.
For me, running back needs to be a veteran.
I don't know. I don't know if you need to bring in somebody.
I would. You got 2 second-year guys, man. I want at least a guy because what if one of those guys goes down,
3.
you're bringing in another.
I think they like Raheem Sanders a ton.
I don't know, man. I think you need a veteran back.
We'll see. Maybe.
I think having the 3 guys that young, and that's what like, you're one injury away from you got nothing but youth back there.
All right, folks. It's time. I lost my bet. I bet Malik Willis would get
over $25 million.
$25 million. It very much looked like it was going that way, and we should at least say that somebody offered him more than that.
Someone did.
I thought it was going. I thought last week I thought it was soaring over 30. That's why
cooler heads prevailed.
I was very brash. I apologize. I thought I was winning another bet. All right. Somebody in the chat wins some swag. How did you do this last week? Did you just bring up the live chat?
I just scrolled all the way up to the top of the chat, and then I scrolled down like I think 5 times and just blindly hit on a name on my phone.
If you're in the chat, stay there if you want a chance to win some Browns film breakdown.
Yeah, World's Fastest already left, but he's got a shirt coming his way.
Yeah, World's Fastest won last week. Can I get in the chat? Oh, you could hear us. Echo. All right. Going to the top. 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that what you did?
What I did, and I just hit a name.
Phil is not a bot. Phil is not a bot. Phil is not a bot. BRAD at Browns Film Breakdown.com.
There he is. He acknowledged in the chat.
Got it?
Brad at brownsfilmbreakdown.com.
You got it? Brad at brownsfilmbreakdown.com. Send me your just hit me up. and then I'll give you a list of what you can choose from. I'll send you all the information you need, and then you'll send me your address, and I'll ship it to you. Word? Phil is not a bot is the winner, and thank you guys for sticking around. You guys are the best chat in all the land, for real, for real. And if you're not a member over at Brown's Film Breakdown, get over there. You've got to check out the film rooms. Jake's killing that stuff, and it's well worth your time to watch the Titus Howard film room, the Zion. I always want to say Zion Williamson.
He could probably play offensive line. Let's be real.
He could. He'd probably be better at that. Zion Johnson. And those film rooms are great. And it's a great community to be a part of. It's Browns chat all day, every day, especially in the founders chat if you want to pay for that level, but at least get over there. And some of the content's free. So like the article I wrote this morning is free to anybody to go read. Go check that out. Phil is not a bot. He is confirming he is not a bot. Phil, you got
like something a bot would say.
Yes, that does sound like something a bot would say. Not an alcoholic, something an alcoholic would say. They always say that. I hate that though. You know what I mean? Like I hate that. Like, well, if you're not anything, you would say I'm not that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't want to get into the whole thing there, but that's something that's always bothered me. If you're not that, you're going to say you're not that. If you are that or not. Sounds like something that somebody guilty of something would say, right? I sound like that right now,
That's
don't
what I'm saying. I wouldn't want to go there with it. But
there we are. All right. Phil, you confirm on the email we've gone way over. Appreciate you guys. It happens. He's a Fed. Okay. Jeff says he's a Fed. He is a Fed. Okay. Hit me up, Phil. Got some swag coming your way. World's fastest got it coming your way. Get over to Brown's Film Breakdown, brought to you by FanDuel. Any parting words, Casey, before we get out of here tonight?
No, man, I'm happy with what they've done so far. Could they have done more? Sure, but being realistic with what you had in front of you, I feel like they took a area of weakness and made it way less weak, and something that I don't think will be such a glaring issue next year.
Yeah, Pat Shea, you said it, man. More stuff to come, more moves to come, and thank you, Chris. Thank you guys for sticking around. Hit like, subscribe on your way out, do all the things, and like I said, get over to Brown's Film Breakdown. Thank you, Brown's Film Breakdown, for having us every Thursday night. And if you're listening on Brown's Film Breakdown, hit the like button and restack that in the Substack as well. So appreciate everybody. And we'll see you next Thursday night here on All Eyes on Cleveland. And if not, we'll catch me and Jake tomorrow on Brown's Film Breakdown, the podcast, and that you get every single day over there. So for Casey Kinnamon, my name is Brad Ward. We are out.